Hi, today I'd like to talk about my experience of using the Guardian Connect app, continuous glucose monitoring system and transmitter during physical activity. So initially I'd like to talk about my experience of using it with just general day-to-day activity. So for example, a couple of days ago I went to a theme park, and the theme park was somewhere that I'd been before, so I had something to kind of compare it to in terms of blood glucose levels. And the theme park's got a zoo, it's got rides, and using my sports kind of band I was able to see that during the day I walked for 10 miles to give you an idea of how active I needed to be there. And I've mentioned in the past that I find the continuous nature of walking something quite difficult to manage diabetes wise, because you're kind of constantly burning off that kind of store of glucose, store of energy, so you've really got to keep an eye on what's going on. And I found that having my phone and the app available, it just kind of meant that my diabetes kind of glucose levels and care were integrated into my day rather than being the key points throughout my day. So normally, whereas I'd be testing as soon as I arrived, I'd be testing, you know, based on how I felt around lunch, and, you know, testing would really be kind of almost like the centre of the day, overpowering the theme park element a little bit, because, you know, if you're in long queues on the rides, you don't want to be going low or anything like that. So what I found particularly useful was that the app was able to tell me when I was kind of moving downwards because of the physical exertion, and I was able to top myself up then with jelly babies, so I avoided having a hypo 3 times, which was incredibly useful because, as I say, it meant that diabetes management was part of my day, but it wasn't the whole day, and I could enjoy the experience of being in the theme park with the rest of the family. And then in terms of more kind of high intensity strenuous exercise, so the type of exercise I would normally do, what's been particularly interesting is my coach's reaction to me being able to show him the app and saying to him, well, actually this is measuring my glucose levels, because my coach has been my coach in athletics for 13 years now, so he knew me when I was kind of not long diagnosed with diabetes, a couple of years in. So he knows my regime, he knows my management, he certainly knows my finger pricking because he sees me do it at the track so often. So his response was just one of absolute awe and surprise and shock that I was able to manage and see my glucose levels on a phone screen. And I think that really hit home how far technology has come in like the last few years. It was wonderful to see, and it really kind of contextualized it for me. Now, my assistant coach is my dad, and so what we agreed that we'd do is that he held on to my phone, and I was only running very short distances, and so whilst I was running he was able to kind of keep track himself of what was going on with my glucose levels, because I thought it'd be interesting for him to see, and also as a safety net element as well, he was able to see what was going on. And it made us both feel kind of, we reflected and it made us feel quite relaxed and quite in control of the situation, that there weren't going to be any surprises from my diabetes, and then we could just get on with the performance element. So moving on from there, now he's kind of seen what the graph looks like on the phone screen and that kind of thing, he's actually able to access my CareLink data for my diabetes. So that's something that we're going to look at next time. So when I'm running much further distances on the other side of the track, he'll be able to access my data and see what's going on that way, which is a completely revolutionary way to think about sport and diabetes management. So I mean, keep up to date with my Twitter and my blog and my Instagram for pictures of us kind of going through this journey together. But until next time, I'll let you know how I'm getting on.